Hello everyone. Crack UPSC CSE in English with us with Unacademy. And if you want to know about me, my name is Vijay Kumar and I have 5 years of teaching experience for civil services. And I have appeared for civil service interview twice and I have cleared this preliminary examination more than 4 times. So I have immense knowledge despite of being a failure in the civil services. I got immense amount of experience of teaching various aspects of UPSC. So please come and join with me on Let's Crack UPSC CSE English on Unacademy. And the topic for today is tips to crack prelims in the 90 days, because these 90 days are very crucial for you. Clear. So you might have started your preparation 1 year, 2 year, 3 years back. There are some masters who have been batting since 4 years, 5 years, but these 90 days are crucial for each and every person. So what to do in this last 90 days? How to get some good tips, how to get some analytical views, what are the things you should do and what are the things you have to avoid. That is what we are going to discuss in this particular lecture. Clear? And everyone know about this platform, that is Unacademy. Crack with us, Crack UPSC CSE with the India's largest platform. And please do get the subscription done today itself. You can watch immense videos, live videos. You can clarify your doubts. There would be quiz, there would be mock test series, where with that you can easily crack this examination. So just open Play Store and just get the Unacademy learning app and try to click on the get subscription button so that you would be redirected towards the page and you can see top educators clear on this Unacademy platform. Like you can see Sudarshan Gujar, who have created huge number of live videos, Ayush Sangi sir and Brunal sir, Siddharth sir and Aman Sharma. So all these top educators, they have created huge number of lectures, videos, and they have created huge number of courses. So please do follow them by getting the subscription done. So get the subscription today itself. And you will also find special classes. Clear? So if you want to have a view of how the lectures go, just come and watch. Immediately when you download an Unacademy learning app, you will be able to see the special classes where different educators come with the different themes on the special classes. They would be teaching you different concepts of different subjects. So please come and watch these lectures before getting the subscription done. You will do it today itself. And what are the things which you would be getting by getting onto this Unacademy platform is like flexible schedule. The schedule would be very flexible. Point number one is आपको पहले ये पता लग जाएगा, like you will be knowing the thing, you will be knowing the date just before itself, timings you will be knowing before itself. So there would be flexible schedule, and language you can choose whatever language you want. You can choose, it would be English, Hindi, Malayalam, Tamil. So there are many languages where you can choose of your own choice, and you can take unlimited practice of different quizzes and also mock test. See, and many people feel like online classes which are present, they would be somewhat different from that of offline classes, but it's not true. You will just feel like you are sitting in the classroom. You can see the picture which is present here, the picture which you are seeing right now. So this picture, like Educator picture, would be appeared in this way, and you can see the rest of the PowerPoint presentations which are present. They would be they would be available for you after the lecture also, and you can easily join this. Clear? So in this, like, you can just chat with the educator, and interactive polls are also present, and you can learn anytime, anywhere on this particular platform. And you can see that like UPSC CSE subscription which is present, that is of a perfect plan, and with very nominal price you would be getting this particular subscription. So if you want to get the subscription done per month, you should pay 7,200, and no discount has been present on this. But if you want, if you take like 3 months and 6 months, 12 months, you would be getting the discount, and you can use the code called as BK10, and where by using the code called as BK10 you will be getting more than like discount like you will be getting more 10% discount, so that the amount which you are going to pay, you will be getting better discount on that plan. So these are the subscription rates, and don't forget to use the code called as VK10. So this is the code which you have to use. So please use this code before you get the subscription, so that you will be getting 10% discount. Here, let's enter into our lectures. So in this lecture, I'll be like saying you about how the last 90 days have to be spent. Like with my experience, generally people who have already read their NCERT books, clear, so they know the importance and they know the significance of these NCERTs. But the main point which is present in this zone is they leave the NCERTs during their revision time. So NCERT books which are present, they will also come in help during the last minute of time. It's not like you have to read each and every point which is present. While you have started reading NCERTs, you might have focused some important underlined points, or you might have highlighted the points in your books. So what you do is, immediately in the last 90-day picture, whenever you start your preparation, do this thing like focus on those key highlight points which you have highlighted while your first and second readings of your NCERTs. So please do this thing while you are doing this particular aspect. Clear? Just 1 minute. Clear? And so don't completely sit on NCERTs. Just finish this NCERTs off very quickly, like within a random pace of within 4 to 5 days. Just finish the things off and don't miss any point, because like what I feel is every time we would be getting some minimum of 5 to 10 questions directly from NCERT books. So if you are filled with basics, it would be easily done, and quick revision is required. Don't completely sit on this, because you have to read more and more stuff for this civil services prelims, which is going to happen on May 31st, 2020. Clear? So once you finish off this NCERTs with the random pace, and I'm making this video at the end of the month of February, and assuming that from March 1st you do these things, like I'm giving you a plan, do the NCERTs within 4 to 5 days, finish with a random pace, and revision of standard books. Clear? So this book comes very handy in picture, like Indian polity, like which is present, it is the latest edition, and there is no necessity of buying the latest edition. You can go with the old version. This book which is available here, you can go with the old version as well. So there are some chapters which have been added in this book, like in the 6th edition. I hope like they are not that important for you. Better you can go with any of the editions which are present, the older one and the newer one. And if you haven't bought this book yet, if you are reading in soft copies, or if you are using the older versions, second or third versions, then you can easily buy this book. Clear? And reading 800 to 900 pages of this particular book, Indian polity, will help you. And if I say somewhere around 15 to 20 questions come in preliminary examinations from Indian polity, either might be from static or from contemporary. There is no point of static, there is no point of contemporary. Every point which is present, that is 100% like will be related to both aspects, that is dynamic as well as static. So in general 15 questions would appear from Indian polity according to my knowledge. So in that, what you can do is you can just read out this book very quickly. Hope you might have read this book already. You can read it, revise it. Hope you might have done a crisp notes from it. If you haven't done, don't start doing the notes. Just you can follow Siddharth Arora sir's lecture, who has made who has made some extraordinary videos on this Unacademy platform of summary of Lakshmikant. You can follow that particular summary which is made by Siddharth Arora, or Roman Saini has also given the plan how to read this Lakshmikant for your preparation. So like you can follow these kind of tips from Unacademy to finish the book with very extreme rapid pace. So please do focus on these particular aspects, so that you won't find any difficulties in this. So revision of standard books like Lakshmikant becomes highly important. Reading 800 to 900 pages of book is must, and it is cost to benefit ratio which is very high for this book. Don't skip this book. If you haven't read until yet, just go through the summaries of Lakshmikant. That's it. Don't start reading this book because it may take 25 to 30 odd days depending upon your pace. So better if you haven't started, and people who haven't started their preparation yet for civil services, this plan is not mentioned for them. This plan is only for those who already started their preparation at least 7 to 8 months back. And the next most important subject, which I feel like which is more and more important, that is modern India. Clear? So many questions would be coming. Generally in the syllabus, they have mentioned about history of India and Indian national movement. But the thing is like UPSC has stopped asking questions from ancient and medieval. So UPSC started asking questions from modern India in general. So most of the questions, if they come from history, there are two sections as of now where questions would be framing from. One is right away from modern India, and one would be from the art and culture portion, where from the Nitin Singhania book which is present, I'll be discussing about it later on. But the modern India portion which is present, that is highly important for you, where you could and you will be covering most of the modern India aspect. Because many people believe that reading Bipin Chandra is perfect for them. Yes, it is a good book, but the thing is like the modern India which is present, it doesn't right away starts from 1857. In Bipin Chandra book, we would be having right exactly from 1857 to 1947. So it's not like the previous 100 years or 150 years when the Aurangzeb has died in 1707. That portion is also important for us. So the portion which is present in between the phase of transformation of medieval to modern, that would also fall under this modern India itself. That phase is very crisp and clearly given in this particular Spectrum's Modern India book. So please do follow this. People who haven't read this book, you can read it within this span of time as well. It is very short and you can like read it off very easily. So already you might have read some other books, and please try to focus on this book as well. And every chapter of this book has summary back to it, which is very well analytic, the summary which is present, it has been given in that particular sense, like it is useful for prelims as well as it is useful for your mains examination. So please do follow this book. And as I've said, like questions have been dropped down from ancient and medieval, and questions have been started focusing in spite of like despite of asking questions from ancient and medieval, they started asking questions from Indian art and culture. Clear? So the Nitin Singhania book which is present, I feel that this book is very much efficient for us. Like from the ancient times, let it be the architecture, let it be the literature, let it be some other aspects, this book has focused very perfectly. I feel like this book which is present, that has huge amount of stuff involved in it. So latest edition, people who haven't bought this book, so please buy this book. Cost to benefit ratio is very high for this. And now comes like Indian economy, and I don't suggest people who are very new to read Indian economy before they read the NCERTs of economy 11th standard and 12th standard. So before they go and read Ramesh Singh, they have to have some minimum basic knowledge, because questions generally from economy come from either from the definitional patterns, or questions would be coming from the recent schemes and policies, or the questions would be coming from the latest economic survey, or from the budget which was initiated by the finance minister. So if you want to solve the questions from Indian economy, you have to have a greater knowledge on the basics. So before reading Ramesh Singh, I suggest people to go for NCERTs. If you read NCERTs, your basic standard knowledge like what is GDP, what is GNP, what is GNP at market price, all these basic criterias would be understood very perfectly, and later on there are some core areas, because as Mrunal sir, when he teaches economy, he will be saying like economy would be focused mainly on 7 pillars, like its monetary policy, fiscal policy, and it would be of sectors of economy, international economics, human resource development, and infrastructure. And along with that, he deals about the definitions and all. These are the 7 pillars where economy has to be read. So when you read and open Ramesh Singh and read, try to focus on this 7 huge areas so that you won't find any difficulties into it. Clear? Then, and along with Indian economy, like without reading economic survey and budget, I don't think that you will be appearing civil service examination. And now comes geography and environment. I bet you like minimum of 35 to 40 questions from these two sections, including contemporary issues of environment and geography, would be appeared in preliminary examination, because it is also most common, like it is also common examination for Indian forest services. So as it is most common for Indian forest services as well, so it is important that they will test your knowledge in geography and environment. 100% they have to test it. So out of 100 questions, my guess would be, if you want, you can check it out in the previous year questions. You would be finding at least 35 questions from this both the sections, including geography, environment, and some environmental contemporary issues. So for geography to be understood, 6th to 12th NCRTs are more than enough. What I feel every time to write some good answers in geography, I feel like 6th to 12th NCRTs are enough. But along with that, we have to have some value added material with us. And that value added material for that, for physical and human geography, this book comes into picture. So please do focus on this particular book by G.C. Leong, which helps you. Along with that, you have Majid Hussain Indian Geography. In that, you only read those areas which are not excessively focused on NCRTs. No need to read the entire Indian Geography Majid Hussain book, only few chapters from it. That's why I haven't mentioned that particular book in this last tips. Clear? So these are the books which you have to follow. And hope everyone know about the Shankar IAS Academy's environment book. So this book, involved with the 12th biology last 4 chapters, will give you a detailed understanding of what environment, what is ecology, and what are the definitions associated with it. And the review for this book is very huge, and it is very well, like it gives huge fire, like the symbol which is being shown over there, that itself says says that this book has the hottest review in the market apart from the rest of the books. So this book is highly important for you. Please don't skip this book. 100% focus on this. And now, like, the thing comes from where we have to cover current affairs. Like, is it necessary to cover the last 2 years? No. Is it is it enough? Like, if we cover the last 1 year, I do say no, because however you would be reading the current affairs from May 2019 until April 2020. What I generally suggest you is go back 4 months and start right away from January 2019, and don't start digging the papers now. Just you haven't read, just go with the magazines of different institutes which are available in the market. Start right away from January 2019 and finish up to April 2020. That would be more than enough for you, especially for prelims. Again, for mains, I'll be discussing it later on. So, and hope everyone knows, like, they'll be reading Hindu, like 90% of the people, they would be reading Hindu, and any other alternative can also be suggestible, because some people may not like the language of Hindu, so they can go for Indian Express or some other newspaper. But my wish is, like, I have good grip on this Hindu knowledge, and from the first itself I have a great communication with it. That is the reason why I read the newspaper called as the Hindu. Otherwise, I also like Indian Express, but only few articles from it. So you can take your own opinion. It's not like don't focus or don't have a forced opinion on you while reading the newspaper. It is on your part which newspaper and which language appears very easy for you. And Yojana, I hope many of the aspirants might have read it already. A few questions, like 2 to 3 questions, would be coming from it. I feel like if you haven't read this Yojana, don't start reading it now. If you already had read this, then only revise it once. That's it, clear. And Press Information Bureau, don't miss it at all. If you haven't focused, go to market, get the Press Information Bureau summaries. You'll get the material somewhere else in the market. So just go buy it and don't miss it at all. If you had continually followed Press Information Bureau, then it's fine, revise it. If you haven't followed even, then also you can do it as of now. Right away from May, try to focus on the Press Information Bureau, like few questions, like 4 to 5 questions at least. Accordingly, my knowledge says like 4 to 5 questions would be covered from this particular Press Information Bureau. And I generally suggest people that the monthly magazines which are done by institutes, like there are many institutes in India, and also Unacademy also gives you good amount of current affairs stuff daily. Generally, I say that, however, the person who makes that particular monthly magazine, so-called current affairs material of, let's say, September, October, obviously he will be doing more amount of hard work to finish and prepare that material. That is for sure. That is 100% ranked. He may not focus 100% areas, but he will be focusing at least 80% areas. So whenever people start their preparation, I generally say, don't make daily current affair notes from each and every paper. Unless and until you fall in love with that particular concept which has appeared in editorial, or some contemporary issues which is completely burning in nature. So I generally say people to focus on those aspects, that's it. But I suggest to rely on monthly magazines. Why? Because like daily note making process would yield you some 2 to 3 hours of time. Better invest that time in your optional or essay writing or ethics, which has huge weightage of 1000 marks. I generally suggest to students to do that, clear. So hope you do follow this. And people who haven't read the Hindu yet, don't worry. There is a solution. Right away, collect the current affairs material from Jan and start reading it and finish off with a rapid pace. Don't have a slow start. People who haven't covered current affairs in a very perfect manner, they can go with monthly magazines and they can 100% rely on it. And don't expect that questions would be coming from those contemporary current affair magazines. It will give you an idea of solving a question, that's it, clear. And economic survey jo bhi, like the latest one which is present, focus on that economic survey, the latest one. At least try to read the gist 2 to 3 times before you write your preliminary examination. And also budget, don't read the entire list, just go with the gist, and which is very necessary for UPSC, only focus on this. And India Yearbook 2020, like in this particular book you won't find any kind of new information, but the thing is you will be getting some good amount of standardized information, like authentic information would be available in this India Yearbook. So there would be some focused areas where you will be learning. So in the India Yearbook, don't read the entire book, only focus some areas where you have skipped off. So this is one tip like from my side. Current affairs, don't miss it. And monthly magazines, you can rely completely. I have did it many times, because as I am a working professional, I have very limited amount of time to cover the current affairs. So I used to rely on these magazines, which has given me a good result. It may not be up to 100%, but at least it covers 70 to 80% accordingly to my knowledge. And like whenever you try to cover the contemporary issues, for prelims especially, try to focus on the places which are in news. Try to focus on the geography of that particular places which are present in news. And there would be some national parks which might have present in the news, biosphere reserves like Satyamangalam Biosphere Reserve, Nalamalla Tiger Reserve, and Manas National Park. So these kind of national parks and biosphere reserves, they on and often generally appear in news. So please try to see the geographical location, ecological importance, and its like any specific species are present in those particular national parks and biosphere reserves and those particular wildlife sanctuaries. So try to focus on those areas, because at least one or two questions from these aspects are being appeared in your civil services every time. Since the last 5 years, if you see, you can see this. And new technology inventions, however, you would be covering in the current affairs and the space programs or the new projects of the ISRO or the new projects of DRDO. So new the technology inventions which has happened in this particular era of last 1 to 2 years. Please do focus on this cryogenic technologies. I hope you know about this. So please try to focus on those. And government schemes and policies, like new schemes which have been implemented by the government, like credit investment facilities, or they have recently amended this MNREGA aspect and soil health card schemes also. So please try to focus on these government schemes and policies for sure. And heritage sites and cultural sites, since the last 1 to 2 years, like, or 1.5 year, see the heritage sites which are being in news. See the World Heritage Sites under UNESCO's list. Clear. And cultural sites which are highly important. See the folk festivals. See the tribal festivals. Clear. So folk dances which are present. Try to see it. See the tribal festivals. So try to locate those areas. So these are the aspects where some of the questions in prelims would be appeared from these areas. And burning issues, however, you would be reading like Article 370, Citizenship Amendment Act, and recent historical past which has happened. Because I on and often observe, like in 2016, I hope, like it was in 2016, there was a question which has appeared, 15 or 16 exactly, I don't remember. So in that year, there was a question regarding with Mahatma Gandhi, and that year back then it was very much important. 100 years back, if you have checked out, Gandhi has like reached India in 1915 from South Africa, right? So that year was important, and it was 100 years when Gandhi has arrived into India. So obviously, in the newspapers of Hindu and Indian Express, they have covered some editorials related with Gandhi, and I have expected a question on Gandhi, and 100% the question has appeared in your UPSC paper. So in that regard, this 2020 year is very much specific for us, and try to see the historical past, what happened 100 years back, what happened 50 years back, or government has took up any historical innovations which they wanted to do. Like see the importance of Sabarmati Ashram. Yesterday, like Trump has come to India and he has started right away from Sabarmati Ashram. So Sabarmati Ashram would be highly important for us. So try to focus on these areas. In the 1920, like we had the opening of starting of non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement, which has been started by Gandhi. So please try to focus on this historical past as well, because questions would be framing from this zone. And how to do test series. Please do focus on these particular test series. Like what generally happens is, from March 21st, generally I have did it and this has worked me very perfectly. What I used to do is, like I used to read, like from June to December, I used to read all the mains and I used to write the answers, and I used to read optional and I used to read current affairs. And from December, I used to stop reading optional and also reading some newspapers as well. I used to read this monthly magazines from them. And however, the economic survey comes, the budget comes, I started reading them. Like this has worked me multiple number of times. And in that 2 months, I used to focus especially on prelims. Like as I've said, environment being the most important part in prelims, modern India being most important part, polity being most important part. I used to focus on them in the month of Jan and February. And from March 1st, and I used to go to market and I used to get some 80 to 90 test papers of different institutes, and I used to sit. And from March 1st exactly, daily I used to do one test until the exam comes. Just 2 to 3 days before examination, I used to stop writing test series. Every day I used to write at least one test paper. So morning I used to wake up very early and I used to get ready by 9, and then I used to sit and write the examination continuously for 2 hours. It's not like I have like solved 10 questions and I have had a cup of tea, then I roamed here and there and then came and then have solved 10 questions. I did not do these kind of mischievous stuff while solving the papers. I continuously did 2 hours of test. I gave 2 hours of test. After the 2 hours of test, I used to take 1 hour rest to have some peaceness in my mind, and I used to check the solutions on my own. When I used to check, like, let's example, like, let's think in this way. Like, if I have attempted 100 questions, 50 questions are perfect and 50 questions got wrong, and I used to leave which I have did correct, because I'll be doing it correct whenever it comes, and I used to focus on those 50 questions which I have did wrong. I used to check the solutions, and I used to go back to the notes, I used to refer it, and I used to remember them. And this thing I used to do, like, at least of 75 to 80 test papers I have solved for every before prelims. So you do please focus on this particular aspect. Minimum of 75 test papers has to be solved before you go to prelims. Daily at least do one test paper, and please check the solutions after you do. And people who are weak at CSAT, clear, people who are from BTech and science background also, they are somewhat good at CSAT, but humanities, people who are from humanities background, like, do at least minimum of 10 test papers of CSAT. Otherwise, like, if you score 160 plus in GS paper, and if you are unable to score 66.66 mark, then it is waste of your energy what you have committed towards the general studies. So please do practice this CSAT as well. And as I have said, like, try to know new things through solutions itself. It's not like if you don't know about non-cooperation mode, don't start digging into it right now. This is not the time to dig. This is just the time to know and skip off and go and revise. Read, repeat, revise, eat and sleep. This is what the only mantra which works. Clear? So read, write, revise, eat, sleep, repeat. This is the only mantra which you have to follow. Focus on this 100%. All these tips which I have given for you in the last 90 days, this will be 100% helping you in solving and cracking UPSC preliminary examination 2020. And join with me on Let's Crack UPSC CSE English Daily Live. And for the continuous notifications, please hit the bell icon for notifications, and please do subscribe to Unacademy channel. And before getting the subscription done on Unacademy, use my code called as VK10 to get 10% discount. And please click on the like symbol if you have liked this video. Thank you for watching this lesson. Have an awesome day. Jai Hind.